Sad news to wake up to this morning. Juan Rodriguez passed away Thursday. Rodriguez was inducted into the World Golf Hall of Fame in 1992, but that's just a small part of Chi's story. Inside the ropes, Rodriguez was one of golf's great characters. He was a showman for the fans, using his club for his signature sword dance after a great shot. And outside of golf, Rodriguez was known for his seemingly endless philanthropy. Closer look at his bio and what he achieved throughout his career. He had 8 victories on the PGA Tour between 1963 and 1979. Rodriguez enjoys a second career of sorts on the PGA Tour Champions, 22 victories on the circuit, including 2 senior major titles. He's tied for 7th all-time in victories on the PGA Tour Champions. He was also a member of the Ryder Cup in 1973. And a statement from PGA Tour Commissioner Jay Monahan, who said, quote, Chichi Rodriguez's passion for charity and outreach was surpassed only by his incredible talent with a golf club in his hand. A vibrant, colorful personality both on and off the golf course, he will be missed dearly by the PGA Tour and those whose lives he touched in his mission to give back. The PGA Tour sends its deepest condolences to the entire Rodriguez family during this difficult time. Chichi Rodriguez, truly a larger-than-life character in this game. His celebrations were just second to none on the golf course. There was just no one like him, and he had this incredible impact off the golf course as well. You both had a chance to spend some time with him. What will you remember most?
Just that he was one of the brightest lights that the game of golf has ever known. Of course, he was born into abject poverty. He would joke that he was too poor to be a kid. He didn't have a childhood. And from, impoverished background, by carving limbs out of trees, he fashioned a set of golf clubs and became very good at the game of golf. By the age of 12, he shot 67. He went on to be this great golfer. Now, that is a heck of a story, from abject poverty to be this great golfer, but it doesn't begin to describe who he was. He was a humanitarian. He was an entertainer. He was one of the most generous spirits that the game has ever known. He was an absolute force of nature. He made the game richer for his presence, but everything that he lacked as a child, he tried to give back to the children that he came into contact with.
I happened to meet him at a golf club. I was there with my college team. And of course we saw him from a distance, and no one wants to bother somebody that, I watched him on TV my entire childhood. But he walked over to our team and shook everyone's hand, introduced himself, and made a point of his leaving note to us was, don't be a robot out there. Enjoy the game, have fun, and let people know that you're having fun along with it. And I think obviously his legacy is with all his philanthropy, but I also think it's so much of it is setting an incredible example to fellow professionals and what he did on the golf course.
Yeah, not just a great golfer, but and even more so an incredible person. You really don't see celebrations, reactions like this on the golf course anymore. I remember seeing a few years ago Hannah Zhang on the LPGA Tour. That's probably the closest, the most reminiscent. She had a similar sort of sword celebration that she would do. That was, invoking, Rodriguez. And we just don't have characters like this in the game, quite like Chichi Rodriguez.
He's such an entertainer. He would throw his hat over the hole. He tells a story about how he got started doing that when he was a kid because there was a toad in a hole. He made this long putt. The toad jumped out. His ball popped out, and he said, I'd made a nickel back in 1950. That was a lot of money. And the fellow I was competing against said the ball didn't touch the bottom of the hole. It doesn't count. You don't get the nickel. So he took to throwing the cap over there. And then, there's a lot of curmudgeons playing the PGA Tour. He started doing that on the tour. They complained. So he's like, well, I got to come up with something else. So it was the sword dance. It was just, it was beautiful, theatrical, a lot of fun. But, the game of golf, yeah, it's a sport, but it's also entertainment.
For sure.
And he got that. And when you see somebody blend those two so well with everything else he did, they're just a gift to the game.
A consummate professional and entertainer. He will be very missed. Well, Rodriguez always had the fans in mind when he was playing, and he was a tireless philanthropist off the course, saying during his Hall of Fame induction, quote, a man never stands taller than when he stoops to help a child. Chichi Rodriguez was 88 years old.